This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for 17 News at Noon. I'm Nicole Gitsky. We begin this hour with your 17 Crime Watch. Kern County homicide detectives are investigating after finding a man dead in a field this morning. According to the sheriff's office, the body was found in a field off the roadway in the area of Stockdale Highway and Plumwood Street just after 6 o'clock this morning. KCSO has not yet confirmed how the man died, but the death is considered suspicious, and homicide detectives have taken over the investigation. If you have information, call KCSO at 861-3110. Well, 3 people are wounded in a late-night shooting in South Bakersfield. The shooter is still on the run. Police say it happened just after 10:30 at the corner of Tommy's Liquor on South Chester Avenue and Wilson Road. When police arrived, they found 3 people who had been shot. All 3 were taken to a nearby hospital. The severity of their injuries is not yet known. No word yet on a possible shooter. Well, just 30 minutes later, sheriff's deputies responded to what they believed was a shooting on Rosedale Highway and Gibson Street. According to KCSO, a man was found suffering from major injuries after being hit in the head with a pistol. Now, the man was taken to Kern Medical. Deputies say the incident stemmed from a family dispute involving domestic violence. According to KCSO, deputies have identified a suspect, but no arrests have been made. And domestic violence is an issue we take seriously at Channel 17. There is always help available for people who need it. You can always call 911 if it's an emergency. You can also call the Alliance Against Family Violence and Sexual Assault at 322-0931 or their 24-hour crisis hotline at 327-1091. You can also call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. Well, law enforcement still is on the lookout this afternoon for an escaped Lerdo jail inmate who has been on the run for 5 weeks now. Tyrone Johnson and David Palms escaped from the Lerdo jail pretrial facility back on April 28th. They're accused in the murder of 3-year-old Major Sutton. Court documents say they created dummies to make it look like they were sleeping in their bunks and cut a hole in the roof to escape. Palms was arrested later that day, but Johnson is still on the run. If you see him, do not approach him, but call 911. If you have information that could help lead to an arrest, you can stay anonymous and call the Secret Witness Hotline at 322-4040. Now to an issue we follow closely here at 17 News, pedestrian safety. Police are searching for the driver who hit and killed a man and his dog this morning, then drove off. According to California Highway Patrol, a person was hit by a car on Golden State Avenue, just west of F Street, around 6 o'clock this morning. CHP says they rushed the man to Kern Medical, where he died. The suspect took off in a 2016 to 2018 Kia Optima with right front damage to the fender and wheel. Now, this is a picture of what that car might look like. CHP says they do not have a description of the person, but if you do know anything, you are asked to call 360-6600. Deputies say this serves as a reminder to be cautious on the roadways, especially with the uptick in pedestrian deaths.
We're seeing an increased amount of pedestrian traffic on our freeways. It's not typical that at freeway speeds that you notice or that you see a pedestrian that's walking out there on the freeway. So again, just be extra cautious and just be mindful that there may be pedestrian traffic.
And another person was struck and killed, this time in Arvin. According to CHP, it happened just after 10 p.m. at Sunset Boulevard near Campus Drive. CHP says the pedestrian, a woman, and the driver were both heading westbound. The driver hit the woman, who died at the scene. The driver, a man, fled. The suspect vehicle is described as a black 4-door sedan with front-end damage and a broken windshield. CHP says it's unknown if drugs or alcohol were factors in the crash. If you know anything, call CHP at 396-6600. By our count, there have been 17 pedestrian fatalities this year. Well, at least one person was killed in a crash on the Grapevine last night. According to CHP, the crash happened just after 9:30 at Grapevine Road, just off Interstate 5 at Fort Tejon. A blue Mazda veered off the northbound lanes, and at least one person inside was killed, according to CHP. The northbound Grapevine Road on-ramp and off-ramp reopened just before midnight. Well, scary moments for a local family after their home goes up in flames while they were sleeping. According to the Bakersfield Fire Department, it happened this morning on Jewetta Avenue near Palm Avenue. BFD says the family woke up to their fire alarm going off. They could see and smell smoke. They were all able to get out safely.
A couple of really great takeaways from this. That's smoke alarms. They are so important. We want everyone to continue to make sure that their smoke alarms are installed, they're working correctly, and that you know what to do when you hear that smoke alarm. That may have saved these lives.
24 firefighters arrived and quickly put out the flames. They were able to keep it confined to the living room and attic. BFD says the fire started from faulty electrical wiring. Now the family will be displaced for some time. Now to our daily coronavirus update. Public Health reported 64 new COVID-19 cases today and no new deaths. Nearly 1,400 people have died from the virus here in Kern County since the pandemic began. The state reports 48 people are in the hospital with the virus, a slight uptick from yesterday. 10 of them are being treated in the area intensive care units. Well, coronavirus cases in the United States have fallen to levels not seen since March of last year. According to NBC News analysis, the 7-day average now stands at a little over 16,000 per day. That's the lowest since March 29, 2020. It's also far below last winter's peak of 300,000 cases per day. Experts say they expect case counts to stay low through the summer and rise again in the fall when the weather cools and more people start to gather indoors. Despite the climb, authorities say increased vaccinations will prevent a widespread surge and increased hospitalizations like we saw earlier this year. And speaking of vaccinations, today KGET is hosting a free vaccine clinic right outside of our studios. And that's where we find 17's Alex Fisher. Alex, what can you tell us about this event?
Hey, Nicole, good afternoon. Hey, we've got some good news. So far, more than 50 people have come out and received their protection against COVID-19. They've received their shot, either the Johnson & Johnson shot, which is 1 dose, or the first of the 2-dose Pfizer vaccine. So far, great news. So I'm going to bring in Reyno Lages, who is part of the United Against COVID-19 Coalition, and here to talk about the importance of today. So far, it is great to see so many people out here in line getting their COVID-19 vaccine. What is your message to anyone out there that is kind of on the fence?
I would just tell them, if you've been thinking about it, this is your chance. It's easy. It's in downtown Bakersfield. It gives you a sense of protection. You could travel. You could feel confident. Don't wait for it any longer. I've been talking to people that have been getting their vaccine, and they're just sharing that they're happy to finally just get their vaccine and be able to feel confident and travel. That's the main one. The summer's here. We need to travel. We want to feel good while we're doing it.
We were talking earlier about how both of us have received our COVID vaccines, and it really does give you a sense of confidence. You do feel like a burden has been lifted off your shoulders after we've been dealing with this pandemic for well over a year. So what are we seeing today, and is it kind of better than what we've kind of anticipated?
The heat, right? That's the only thing. People are braving the heat.
Hey, we've got ACs, though.
But we have ACs, we have tacos, we have free ice cones. So come on over, let us, treat you to some tacos. And then you also qualify to get on the state raffle, right? That's also super exciting.
Which is happening tomorrow. So, a lot of great incentives here today. Again, if you are on the fence, our health officials talk about the importance of getting the COVID-19 vaccine. Come on down to KGT Studios. We'll be out here until 7 p.m. Nicole, I'm going to send it back to you. We'll check in with you in just a few moments.
All right, thanks so much for that, Alex. Well, the Kern County Latino COVID-19 Task Force is offering several vaccine clinics this week, hoping to reach people living in underserved areas of the county. Now, there's one today from 2 to 5:30 at Nueva High School in Lamont, and another at the McFarland Junior High School. There's one tomorrow at the Fiesta Supermarket in Wasco, and one Saturday at the Compassion Christian Center in Bakersfield. You can make an appointment by calling 525-5900, but walk-ins will also be accepted. You can find more information on our website, kget.com. And Bakersfield College is set to hold a mass vaccination clinic this weekend. BC's Student Health and Wellness Center have teamed up with the nursing students to get the Moderna shot into the arms of residents. The clinic is set for Saturday at the Bakersfield College campus from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. To schedule an appointment, head to the state's website, myturn.ca.gov. Walk-ins will also be accepted.
Clinica Sierra Vista is now offering rapid COVID-19 testing and COVID-19 vaccinations. Call 833-278-4584 to make your appointment. But don't delay. Clinica Sierra Vista, putting patients first.
Welcome back. 17 News is your local election headquarters, and Sheriff Donnie Youngblood announced earlier this week he will be running for re-election next year. First elected in 2006, Youngblood has led KCSO for the last 16 years. Sheriff Youngblood joined us this morning on Sunrise, saying there are still things he wants to take care of to make our community a better place.
And we still have a lot to do. We're in the middle of an agreement with the Department of Justice. We're trying to build a new coroner's office. I think we'll get that within the next 18 months. Some really exciting things and times in the organization. And the national narrative appears to be changing just a little bit, and I want to be a part of that. I want, we're building relationships with the community that we probably didn't have the best relationship with, and that's exciting to us, and I want to be around for that.
No word on any other candidates in the race, and the primary election day happens June 7th, 2022. Looking ahead this weekend, you can lace up your running shoes for the annual Walk for Kids. The event helps raise money to support the children who stay at the Ronald McDonald House and are undergoing medical treatments. It's a virtual walk this Saturday, and you can participate any way you want. Scarlett Sabin, the executive director of the Bakersfield Ronald McDonald House, had to say that there is lots of options, and you can help with fundraising efforts by heading online. According to the website, so far they have $102,000. Now, for more information on how to donate or to take part in the event, you can head to our website, KGET.com. And if you have a flag you want to get rid of, you can still participate in our annual flag drive. The Veterans of Foreign Wars is collecting old American flags that need to be disposed of in a safe and dignified way. We're accepting donations now through June 13th. Then on June 14th, that's Flag Day, the Veterans of Foreign War will host a special flag disposal ceremony. The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to KGET.com.